Well, welcome back to Ssci Insights, the virtual interview series where we take a deep dive into all things related to the Consumer Goods Forum's Sustainable Supply Chain Initiative. My name is Madeline Vanderheyden, and today I am pleased to be joined by two leaders from the European Marketing Distribution, or EMD. I'm here with Philippe Gruyters, Managing Director of EMD, and Elles de Jonge, Senior Category Buyer, Private Label Products. Today we'll be speaking about the participation in the Ssci, and I'm really looking forward to our conversation. Philippe and Elles, welcome to Ssci Insights.
Hello.
Thank you for having us.
Great. So Philippe, why don't we start with you? Can you tell us a little bit more about EMD and what you do?
Yes, Madeleine. So EMD is a retail alliance. And what we offer is services in sourcing. And we do that already over more than 30 years. We have three activities. In private label, we organize joint international tenders, but also we expose the private label products of our members to other members. Also, we work with the A-brand manufacturers to boost their business throughout their network. And our small and medium-sized suppliers, we expose them inside the network to expand their businesses.
With all of that in mind, EMD has been a member of the Sustainable Supply Chain Initiative at the CGF since its inception. What inspired you to join the Ssci and stay so involved? Maybe Philippe, we can start with you there.
Yes, we are in fact member of the Consumer Goods Forum since the beginning. We were even member of the organization that was previous to the Consumer Goods Forum. But we decided to join the Ssci because, of course, sustainability is important to our members. And if we look at all the topics that include sustainability, this is really too big and it's too complex to be solved by every one of my members individually. So we stepped into, as EMD, into Ssci because we wanted to stay upfront and involved in all these topics. And we can do that as EMD also for our members. Of course, we want to provide to all our consumers safe and sustainable products. But also towards our suppliers, we want to be very clear what do we expect from them when it comes to sustainability. And therefore, we have these rules in place because we want to apply all these rules the same way and in a fair way to all our suppliers. So therefore, we want to work with the Ssci standard, and we hope that also a bit like the GFSI has become a standard in the sector, that the Ssci will grow also in the next years to become the same way an accepted global standard like the GFSI.
That's a great point you bring up, Philippe. We just had an interview with one of our colleagues at the CGF from the Global Food Safety Initiative, the GFSI, and we do also share the same vision and hope that it will continue to grow just as the GFSI has done. So that interview is also available on the CGF website for anyone who is listening. So speaking of this relationship you have with your suppliers and members, Elles, I'd like to ask you about the new Supplier Code of Conduct that you have at EMD. And we've learned that it's based on the Ssci benchmarking criteria. So can you tell us more about the development process of this code of conduct and how you, what you hope the outcomes of the code of conduct to be?
Yes, of course. So the EMD Code of Conduct is still relatively new, although already 1 year old now. We introduced it in January 21. And yes, it describes the requirements we have on food safety and on social compliance for the suppliers who provide private label products to the EMD members. And the food safety requirements, they are based on GFSI, and yeah, as you introduced, the social compliance requirements are indeed based on Ssci benchmarking criteria. And we use these 12 criteria as more as a base to which all EMD suppliers and potential suppliers must adhere. So in developing our code of conduct, we took the individual policies that EMD members have around sustainability. And this showed that regardless of the country that they operate in, that the base of requirements is the same. And these also match very well with the Ssci benchmarking criteria. And well, on top of that, some or several EMD members have further requirements as well. So on top of what we call the base set of requirements, there can be additional ones, and these apply to the individual EMD members in their markets. Yeah, and when we talk about what our hope is of what the EMD Code of Conduct will bring, in the long term, so we are an international buying alliance. We source products globally for our members. And with applying our code of conduct and the Ssci criteria, we also raise the bar for our suppliers around sustainability. And we hope that this will contribute to some of the global sustainability issues that we face. And then for more short term, yeah, with adopting the Ssci criteria, we hope that Ssci will become, let's say, globally accepted and recognized, as Philippe just mentioned, somehow getting to the same status as GFSI has today. And this will, on the one hand, will bring clarity to our suppliers on what we accept, some guidance on the direction to go, and also for our members, give more clarity on which suppliers they can work with now or in the future.
Great. Well, it's really great to see the Ssci criteria being employed and put into practice with your work. And it also sounds like you have a very similar objective to that of the Ssci, which is to drive alignment among different standards and different approaches to sustainability, raise the bar, and help clarify what those standards are. So really, really great work that you're doing. And we're very excited to see you take the Ssci and implement it within your own operations. But you've mentioned a little bit about the Ssci growing and becoming, more globally known and having more name recognition, just as the GFSI has done. And the Ssci is only 4 years old, so it's a relatively new initiative. Where do you think the Ssci can grow further into the future?
Yeah, so although we think that the benchmark process should remain strict and not just any standard should be able to pass, we do think we would definitely benefit from more standards being benchmarked and achieving the Ssci recognition. So that would increase then Ssci acceptance. And also having more standards recognized would help suppliers to find a standard that applies for their sector, and it would help our members to be able to apply the sustainability requirements in all the product categories that they source. And another important aspect for us would be to develop further on environmental requirements. So now we got the social compliance covered, but yeah, from our involvement in Ssci, we know that the environmental requirements are a more difficult topic to cover because it involves so many different aspects. But the process has started, and we do hope that the development will lead to a similar outcome as we have for social compliance, and that also there we will be able to provide more clarity to both the suppliers and our members, the retailers, on environmental topics as well.
Maybe I can add something about how we see the future. We are very happy that there is a huge participation from retailers and from supplier side in the initiative. But if we look at the involvement of the suppliers, we see predominantly the A brands being involved in the process. And we would be very happy if also the private label sector would step up and be more involved in this process. We believe this should concern the whole supply chain, and the whole supply chain, the private label sector plays an important role. And I would plead to have more involvement also from the private label sector. Then I believe that we really can cover the whole supply chain and make sure that all the sourcing that we and our members do is covered also by Ssci.
Thank you both for those closing words. I really love what you have to say about involving the entire supply chain, since that is one of our core values of the CGF and the Sustainable Supply Chain Initiative, which is collaboration and collective action. And of course, as you mentioned earlier in our conversation today, no one can tackle sustainability challenges working on their own, and the importance of working with others is the key to success. So Philippe and Elles, thank you so much for joining me today for this quick chat about what EMD is doing to drive harmonization and alignment among sustainability standards and secure sustainable sourcing of food products in Europe. I really appreciate it, and we look forward to working with you more in the future.
It was our pleasure. Thank you very much, Madeleine.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.